Hi guys, Lewis here from thelanguagescientist.com, and in today's video I'm going to do a Glossica review. So I'm going to be reviewing the website Glossica, and it's basically an app for learning languages. It's pretty famous, and I'm going to be answering multiple questions. I'm going to show you a quick preview of what studying with Glossica is like, and I'm going to be answering the question of, is Glossica actually worth it? Is it better than other language learning tools out there? Is it more efficient? Can you learn the language, just using Glossica? And also, is it faster than other tools? Now, I'm going to use my knowledge of my own experience of learning multiple languages to pretty high levels, such as, English. French is my native language. English is a second language. I've also learned Japanese. So I'm going to use that experience and my own experience with Glossica, as well as my knowledge of second language acquisition, which is essentially the science of language learning. Now, the first thing I want to talk about, I'm going to, here you can see all of the languages, I think over 60 languages that Glossica actually has. So I have included a link in the description of this video where you can just click on the link and it's going to lead you on this page with the list of languages that you can learn on Glossica. And if you click the link on the description, you will see that in this list there are languages that are completely free. Those are languages that are generally just a little bit more, rare and very niche, such as Hakka, Hailu. I'm not very knowledgeable of what this is, Gaelic, and a bunch of other languages. But for the most part, all of the other languages you need to pay for them. And I'm going to get into pricing in a little bit. Actually, let's get into it right now. I just want to get that off the table. So the pricing for Glossica is actually I'm going to include a link to in the description of this video to the pricing page for Glossica, so you can click on it directly. But it used to be that Glossica, back in my days, I suppose, was a lot more expensive. We only had the Pro plan here, which was pretty much the same. I think it was like $29 or maybe just $30 a month, and you could get the annual plan, which was, I think, a 17% discount. So, all in all, it was like $25 a month, and, you would pay yearly. It would amount to about, $300 in the end. But that was the only plan possible. And this plan here is pretty great in the sense that you will have access to the entire library of languages of, Glossica, which is more than 60 languages, and they're adding more and more content and more languages. Now, with this new version of Glossica here, there is a new pricing plan, which is this one here, the basic plan. If you pay monthly, which is the most expensive option, this is going to you're going to be set back of $16.99 monthly. If you choose to go yearly, it's going to be $13.33 monthly. But keep in mind that you can actually have a free trial. I believe it's 7 days, I think. So you can sign up for a free trial, and if I were you, and personally I like to learn one language at a time, I would just go for the basic plan. I mean, it's half the price of the Pro plan. You only get access to one language, and there are other things as well. Offline use is going to be a little bit more restrictive, but it's really not a big deal in my opinion. So basic plan is definitely the one I would go for. Alright, so with that out of the way, let me talk about Glossica and how it works. So here I'm on, actually let me go back to my dashboard here. I have created, this is my account actually with a bunch of languages that I am not learning, but I have actually, tried out. I've done quite a bit of Korean as well. So this is the dashboard here, and what you need to understand is that Glossica is centered around the idea of mass immersion / flashcards. So let me explain what this is. So the creator of Glossica essentially thought to himself, well, language learning comes down to how many sentences do you know in that language, roughly speaking. So the point is that if you want to learn a language, you need to get exposed to a bunch of sentences, all kinds of sentences with a wide variety of vocabulary, with a wide variety of grammar, and different constructs that allow you to absorb the language in this way. So Glossika is organized around this idea of sentences. Something else to understand as well is that Glossika is it's essentially kind of like a flashcard system. It's an SRS, a spaced repetition system, meaning that it's going to try to essentially, you see, for example, those are sentences in Chinese. This is a dialect of Chinese. And those sentences are going to be scheduled, and you're going to work with them in such a way that is optimized for long-term retention. Glossika is going to try to pound them hard into your brain until you remember them using, different techniques. And I'm going to show you that in a second. Now, you can see sort of your stats here. You can see the sentences that and that you're about to learn. You can see their memory strength here, and you can see the different skills here in Glossika, which could be useful. I don't really use that a lot. Glossika is also organized around this idea of topics. So if you are going to, if you're learning a language in the short term or in the long term for specific purposes, that can be an advantage as well. You can choose to study more of a specific topic, which is not something that I personally do because I just study languages for fun. It's just general sort of purpose. Let me get into the main sort of interface of Glossika. I'm going to click on review here. So this is going to review some sentences I have learned in the past. This is just a language here, a dialect of Chinese that I just tried out because it's free. But as you can see, you will have the sentence in English here at the top with the sentence in the language that you're trying to learn at the bottom. And what's going to happen is that you're going to press play. So as you can see, what happened here is that, okay, it read it a second time. That's what it does all the time. And then it's going to automatically just go through this training session. So here, what I'm showing to you right now is a listening training session, meaning that you're going to have a sentence in English played to you, and then you have to sort of guess, think to yourself, how do I say that in the language I'm trying to learn? And you think it to yourself, and then the sentence is going to be played out loud, in your earphones. This is the listening mode. And by the way, Glossika actually has, and this is fairly new, they have a mobile application for Android and iPhones. Or yeah, I think at least it's on iPhones. Check it. Try to check if you have an Android phone. I think it's available for Android as well. But this is the listening mode, and you can download those sentences, the listening mode for offline use. So if you're working out or doing something else, you can actually study using Glossika. Using this technique, and this can be hugely valuable because if you're just working out and cleaning your house or commuting, you're essentially you don't need to actually sit down in front of your computer and actually study actively. By doing this listening mode, offline, you're actually, it's basically free training for you. I mean, training that you do not need to, where you do not need to invest your time actively studying, which is great. All right, so the listening mode, it's just essentially that, the sentences are going to be played to you, and automatically it's going to go to the next sentence. Now, keep in mind that Glossika actually orders sentences in an order of, in a logical order, meaning that the first sentences are going to be a lot less difficult in terms of vocabulary and in terms of grammatical structure. So it's going to get progressively harder. The other thing as well to understand is that the sentences are actually ordered in such a way, it's optimized in such a way to make you absorb certain grammatical constructs and make you notice certain things at the right point in time. So you have, certain grammatical constructs that are going to be grouped together and so on. So just to give you an order of idea of how many sentences you'll get with Glossika, I have the French page here. This is the, if you're trying to learn French with Glossica, this is kind of like the sign up page, and I have it here, and you can scroll down and see a bunch of the features of Glossica, and you'll see here that it has 6,600 sentences and 5,000 words, more than 5,000 words, and they're constantly updating that. It says here that you're going to get, from A1 to C1 in terms of, French. Personally, I feel like it's a bit of an overstatement here. I would say if you know about 5,000 words in French, it's going to be about B1, B2. But, obviously they're trying to sell their product. This doesn't undermine the actual efficacy of Glossica. So this is the number of sentences that you're going to learn, just to give you an idea of where you're going to get here with 5,000 words. And keep in mind that not all languages are going to have 5,000 words. If I go to Japanese here, this may be more because Japanese is pretty popular. Let me see, no, 5,000. Thai is probably going to be less than 5,000. There you go, 3,000. So if you get to 5,000, this is a pretty good level where you'll find that you're able to express, and you're just able to talk with people in an almost, quasi fluent way if you were just to, complete the entire Glossica course. So that's essentially what it is. Now, let me go back on the training session here, and all I showed you was actually the listening mode, but there is a full practice mode. I'm going to click here. There you go. Switch to full practice mode. And I'm not going to go through it, but just understand that there is another mode here, which is, if you have some time to invest and actually sit down in front of your computer, or, use your mobile app, use the mobile app. And by the way, it seems like the app is only available on iPhones. I wouldn't know. I don't actually have a smartphone, but I use Glossica on my computer. So the full practice mode is going to it's not just going to be listening. You're going to have to record your voice. You're going to have to actually type out the answers, and so on. So overall, I feel like a lot of people are going to feel that this is very similar to Duolingo. So what is the difference with Duolingo, and why should you go with Glossica, as opposed to Duolingo, which is free? So Glossica, the big advantage is, number one, it actually has all of the audio here is not computer generated. It's actually from native speakers. So this was recorded by a native speaker, and this as well, and all of the sentences. So that's the first thing. Number two, Glossica actually has a lot more content than Duolingo for a lot of languages. So for example, for Thai, you have about 4,100 sentences, which on Duolingo you're not going to get that many for Thai. So this is a big advantage. It's a lot more exhaustive. Well, it's not exhaustive, but it's a lot more complete. So that's one of the things. All right, so now I want to talk about the main drawback of Glossica, which is a pretty big thing, and I feel like I should have talked about this at the beginning of this video, which is that, as you can see, my opinion about Glossica is straight up that this is a very, very good tool, very efficient in the sense that if you stick to it and you do the entire program, everything has been just digested for you. You just need to do it. And this is a very efficient way of learning any language. The thing is, the caveat here is, if you stick to it, all right? Because most people, I feel like, are not going to have the consistency and really the deep seated motivation to actually sit through the entire program, because we're talking about hundreds of hours for completing a single program, right? And most people don't have what it takes to actually, go through the entire program. Now, the reason is, Glossica is a spaced repetition system. It's organized, there's a smart algorithm that schedules sentences at the right point in time. And, you do all of these exercises, which are pretty effective and efficient, but it's pretty repetitive. It's a spaced repetition system. And so I feel like a lot of people are not going to, keep doing it long enough to actually see any significant kinds of results. But if you're one of those people who has that sort of dedication, you know you want to learn that language and you know that you're going to stick to it, then Glossica is definitely a good option. So once again, I'm going to finish this video just by showing the pricing page here. And once again, you can click on the link in the description of this video to get to the pricing page. I would recommend that you go for the basic plan. If you pay annually, it's going to be about 20% less expensive. So $13.33 a month. It's actually quite affordable. It's definitely not on the expensive side. If you're learning just one language at a time, which I recommend that you do, then definitely get the basic plan. If you're learning multiple languages, then you can get the pro plan, but I would definitely go for the basic plan. And if you want to save money, go for the annual plan. So that's basically it. So that's it for this Glossica review. I hope you liked it. And if you want to learn more about me, then you can go to thelanguagescientist.com. I'll put a link in the description as well. So see you next time.